Midweek greetings and thank you for joining us for yet another edition of Prime Time News. I'm Michael Madimba. In our lead story tonight, we begin in the capital, where the Ministry of Finances terminated the medical aid benefits of 15,162 retired government employees.
In a media statement issued on Tuesday, the ministry said, in terms of the staff rules, it conducted a Public Service Employee Medical Aid Scheme CMAS membership verification project in which it was established that 15,162 retired staff members are not contributing to the fund and have failed to reapply for medical aid at retirement, even though they fully benefited from the scheme since retirement. According to the Public Services Staff Rules, a retiree must apply on the prescribed application form for membership of CMAS at the Ministry of Finance within 90 days from the date of retirement, and if they fail to do so, their membership can be suspended or terminated. The statement further said it was established that a segment of these retirees withdrew their full pension benefits, and it is required that contribution for CMAS should be deducted from pension benefits monthly. In line with the staff rules and the findings of the verification project, the ministry resolved to terminate the medical aid of the affected members on the 3rd of September 2021. The ministry urges all staff members in the public service, especially those nearing the age of retirement, to acquaint themselves with the staff rules and regulations on CMAS to avoid forfeiting their medical aid benefit.
Moving on to municipal matters. The city of Windhoek has appealed to residents to desist from illegal electricity connections to each other, as this incurs a fine of up to 16,000 Namibian dollars or 2 years imprisonment.
Corporate Communications, Marketing and Public Participation Manager Harold Akwenye, in a media statement issued on Tuesday, said the city has noticed with great concern a growing trend of electricity theft by some residents, and they should be warned that electricity theft itself is a serious crime and poses a high risk. Members of the public are discouraged from tampering or bypassing electricity meters because tampering with electricity poses a serious risk to life in electricity infrastructure, which is also a major stumbling block to service delivery in Windhoek. Akwenye said illegal connections of electricity, especially within the informal settlements, have become the most common way of illegally supplying power to Windhoek residents. The public is discouraged from illegally supplying electricity. We are therefore urging the public to help prevent and reduce power theft by reporting any illegal electricity connection to the city police. He added that residents should rather apply for legal electricity connection if their current meter is malfunctioning or if it has been tampered with, and they should make arrangements with the City of Windhoek's electricity department for their meters to be exchanged safely. Akwenye warned, if you suspect someone has tampered with an electricity meter, you can make a call in total confidence with our customer care helpline. Take note that any offence associated with bypassing of electricity or tampering with electricity meters and illegal electricity supplies carries a hefty fine of 16,000 Namibian dollars or imprisonment not exceeding 2 years in terms of Section 42 of the Electricity Act 4 of 2007. Salima Shimwe-Feleni reporting for Nampa News.
Staying in the capital, 23 young Namibian women have benefited from the United States government through its embassy in Windhoek. This after the embassy recently funded the DREAMS program Women as No Means No instructors aimed at teaching adolescent girls on how to protect themselves from gender-based violence.
The training boosts young women's self-esteem and includes self-defense exercises. In a media statement issued on Tuesday, the charge d'affaires of the U.S. Embassy in Namibia, Jessica Long, said that DREAMS stands for Determined, Resilient, Empowered, AIDS-free, Mentored and Safe, and that the program has already enrolled more than 50,000 young women and girls in Namibia. It is funded by the United States President's Emergency Plan for AIDS Relief, PEPFAR through the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. She said the No Means No instructors will play a pivotal role in addressing violence against children and gender-based violence by demonstrating what it looks like to be empowered and confident and to have the skills to prevent or escape violent situations. This is even more important given the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on child and gender-based violence. According to the 2013 Demographic Health Survey, 1 in every 3 Namibian women aged from 15 to 49 has experienced physical violence. Data shows that the situation deteriorated during the recent COVID-19 lockdowns, resulting in increased abuse and a significant increase in teenage pregnancies. The new instructors will provide No Means No training in the Khomas, Oshikoto, and Zambezi regions, where Project Hope Namibia and partners are implementing the DREAMS program.
Moving on to continental news. The Libyan Interior Ministry on Tuesday said it seized 109 illegal immigrants bound for Europe in the western city of Slayton, some 160 kilometers east of the capital Tripoli. Xinhua has more on the story.
The ministry said the migrants include 16 women and 2 children who are of Eritrean and Sudanese origin. The ministry further said that legal measures were taken against the migrants. Libya has been a preferred point of departure for illegal immigrants wanting to cross the Mediterranean towards European shores ever since the 2011 uprising, which toppled its leader Muammar Gaddafi and plunged the country into insecurity and chaos. Migrants who are rescued at sea or sieged by the Libyan authorities end up in overcrowded reception centers across the country. Salima Shumwefeleni reporting for Nampa News.
Stand by for your top roundup. And the business and economic segment will begin locally. The Electricity Control Board ECB has approved a weighted average of 1.7% tariff adjustment by Erongo Red effective July 2021 to June 2022.
The adjustments, according to Erongo Red Chief Executive Officer Feso Mbango at a media briefing on Tuesday, was the result of ECB's average increase on non-power's tariff from $1.65 to $1.69 per kilowatt for the 2021-2022 financial year. Bango said it is worth noting that for the past 2 years, this was the first time that Erongo Red is increasing their tariffs. As a company, we are still committed to providing subsidized tariffs, especially now that COVID-19 has affected our vulnerable members of the community. He added that despite the increase, pensioners will continue to enjoy other benefits such as not paying basic charges up to 40 amperage circuit breakers and installation of prepaid electricity boxes free of charge. Erongo Red has pledged its support to vulnerable community members, especially customers who cannot afford to pay actual retail tariffs, who are advised to move to the Lifeline tariff provided they meet the qualification criteria set out in the social tariff policy.
President of the 75th session of the United Nations General Assembly, Volkan Bozkir, on Tuesday called for the redoubling of efforts in the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals while expressing concern that the 2030 deadline might be missed. Xinhua gives us more. Noting that the Sustainable Development Goals represent a blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet, now and into the future, and implementing these goals will help protect the international community against future calamities, he warned that with the trajectory we are on, we're going to miss the 2030 deadline. Borski said at the closing of the 75th United Nations General Assembly session. This assembly and you, the member states who make up the United Nations, must redouble efforts to implement the SDGs. On multilateralism, the veteran Turkish diplomat said that we must strengthen and unite behind the multilateral system. He added, our world is increasingly globalized, interconnected, as well as interdependent. As such, nationalistic solutions will not resolve our challenges. He added, it is my belief that a multilateral strategy may help to guide us better against the spread of COVID-19 and its variants and protect those most vulnerable. Speaking about inequality, Borski said, as we move forward, the United Nations and member states must focus on the gaps that were revealed to us. In conclusion, he surmised, this most critically includes the lingering and ever-widening digital divide. If we wish to achieve Agenda 2030, inequality must be reduced. Join us after the break. It's time for the weather forecast, followed by the sports update with my colleague Joey Gosses.
Good evening and welcome to All Things Sport on Sport Planet. I'm Joy Gosses. We begin with the Champions League. Cristiano Ronaldo has wasted no time in showing how valuable he will be to Manchester United. But Tuesday's shock Champions League defeat at the hands of Young Boys in Bern was a reminder that the Old Trafford side have not been a major player at this level for a long time. AFB gives us more.
Ronaldo got his third goal in 2 matches since returning to United as the visitors took an early lead at the Waldorf Stadium. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka's sending off shortly before the interval was what swung the Group F opener. Young Boys, the Swiss champions, whose most notable performance in the European Cup remains their run to the semi-finals back in 1959, made the most of their extra men as Cameroon's Nicolas Mominga-Melu got a 66th-minute equalizer. USA forward Jordan Sibachio then won it deep in injury time after latching onto Jesse Lingard's misjudged back pass. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's team are now already on the back foot, with Young Boys theoretically the weakest side in a section also featuring Atalanta and Villarreal, who beat United in last season's Europa League final. Solskjaer said, "You need 10, maybe 12 points. You need to win your home games and maybe one away. We've lost an opportunity to get the 3 points, but we've got 2 home games next."
On to rugby news. South Africa coach Jacques Nienaber opted for continuity today, rather than wield the axe, as the Springboks look to bounce back in their return rugby championship clash against Australia. Once more, AFB has more on the story.
The world champions fell 28-26 to the Wallabies last weekend on the Gold Coast, despite outscoring them 3 tries to 1, with poor discipline proven costly. They had 2 men seen beamed and gave away 11 penalties, 7 of which were in range for sharp-shooting Quade Cooper, who nailed them all, including a match winner after the final siren. Despite this, Nienaber made just 2 changes to his starting side, one of them enforced, for the return in Brisbane on Saturday, backing his squad to learn from their mistakes. He said, "This is an experienced group of players who knows what it takes to deliver under pressure, and we all know what we need to do to bounce back from last week's defeat." Among the changes, Marvin Orie comes in for Locke Lude de Jager, who's recovering from concussion, while Trevor Nyakane was preferred at loose head prop to Stephen Kitchoff, who moves to the bench. South Africa are currently second in the Rugby Championship table, 5 points behind New Zealand after winning their opening 2 matches at home against Argentina. The remainder of the tournament is being held in the Australian state of Queensland due to coronavirus travel restrictions.
Your sports roundup is up next. With that, we have come to the end of tonight's bulletin. Much appreciated for tuning in. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe, like, share, and click on the notifications bell to stay abreast with the latest happenings locally and globally. Do add your comments as well in the comments section. From myself, Joy Gosses, and the entire production crew, have a lovely evening.